Welcome back to another video, and in this video we're going to be continuing on with our SwiftUI tutorial series, and in this particular tutorial we are going to be taking a look at how we can use the FocusState property wrapper to manually switch focus between different, for example, text fields, and how we can use it to determine whether or not a control is in focus, and how we can determine whether or not to dismiss the keyboard using FocusState. So let's go ahead and get started. Now, if you are familiar with UIKit or AppKit, you might be familiar with what's called the responder chain. Now, the responder chain can allow us to determine which control is what's called the first responder, which is the control that currently has focus. Now, FocusState and the first responder aren't the same thing, but I want you to kind of get that mental image in your head if you are coming from UIKit or AppKit, so you can kind of understand what we're doing here, because they are two completely different ways of thinking. All right, so inside of Xcode, what we need to do first is, if we want to, for example, determine whether or not a single control is in focus. So let's go into Xcode. At the top of our file here, I'm going to say at FocusState private var is focused, and this is going to be a Boolean. Now, you don't provide a value here. You just say, at FocusState private var, whatever your variable name is, and then the type Boolean. Because if you try to give it a value here, Xcode will yell at you. You'll get an error. So don't put any value here. Next, I'm going to say, let's say I want the email address field to be, I want to determine whether or not the text field is focused for the email. Well, in order to do that, we need to use the focused modifier here, in addition to FocusState. So dot focused. Now this will take in a binding to a Boolean. So $sign is focused. All right. Cool. Now we can print to the console whenever this is focused, and when it's not focused, by saying on change of is focused. Open that up, and we'll say if is focused, then we'll say print email field is focused, else we want to print email field is not focused anymore, like that. There we go. So now, whenever is focused is true, then we'll print that the email field was focused. If it's not, then we will print that it's no longer in focus. So let's save that. And I'm going to change my run destination to my Mac just to make it a little bit easier. We'll hit replace here. All right, cool. So here's our application. We have two buttons. They don't do anything right now. But we go into our email address field. In our console, we should see email field is focused. And then now that we're focused in the password field, we should see that it is no longer focused. Go back in. Back out. Back in. Back out. So let's go back into Xcode. And in our console, so email field is not focused anymore. Email field is focused, right? So you get the idea. So you get the idea here. But what if we want to programmatically change focus? Well, if we want to programmatically change focus, most of the time you're going to want to have multiple fields that you can change focus between, and for that you'll have to use an optional enum. So let's go into Xcode. All right, and then into our content view. Okay, there we go. Now, up here, we're going to say enum login fields case email password. So we have an enum called login fields with two cases, email and password. Now, where we have our focus state variable here, we're going to change this. We'll change it to focused field, and we'll make its type an optional login fields. All right. Now, inside of our form here, on our text field, instead of having a binding to a Boolean, we'll say .focused. And then we want the one that has a binding and equals parameters. The first parameter being our binding. So it'll be $ focused field and then equals dot email. And then for our password field, we'll say dot focused $ focused field equals dot password, just like that. Now, the last thing is we need to make our buttons up at the top actually do something. And what these buttons are going to do is it's going to programmatically change our focus. So, for the first button, where it says go to email, we'll say focused field equals dot email. And then for the password button, or go to password button, it'll be focused field equals dot password. And then if we want another button called dismiss keyboard, what this one will do is we'll say focused field equals nil. So if you set your focus state variable to nil when you use an optional enum, that will dismiss the keyboard. So let's go ahead and save that, and then I'm going to change my run destination. We'll go into the 16 Pro Max simulator, run it. Okay, so we have a build failure. We'll see what happened here. We forgot about the onChange modifier here. Okay, there we go. We'll save that, run it. Successful build. Let it load, kind of do its thing here. All right, so here we are. Let's hit go to email. So now we're kind of focused in on that. We're focused in on that field. However, one thing I'm probably going to do instead is I'm going to run this on my phone so we have a better idea of what we're doing, because the simulator is a little bit glitchy. So I'm going to go to change my run destination here again. All right. Let's run it. All right, my phone has got to do its thing here. Yeah, okay. Phone. Okay, so what I'm gonna do here real quick is I'm gonna try to reconnect. Okay, there we go. Now that I have my AirPods reconnected to my computer instead of my phone, of course, the app didn't finish running here. Okay, there we go. Now I'm going to screen mirror. So screen mirroring. We'll screen mirror to the Mac Mini here. All right. So here we go. Here we are in our little form. Let's hit go to email. Now our email field is focused.
Text field is editing. Dismiss keyboard button. Go to password button.
We'll go to the password field.
Is editing.
Now the password field is focused.
Passwords button. Secure text field. Email address. Text field.
However, if we hit dismiss keyboard, our focused field is nil, and that means, hey, dismiss the keyboard, so the keyboard is now gone. All right. So there you go. That's how you can use FocusState in SwiftUI to change your focus between different controls, how you can dismiss the keyboard with it, and how you can detect when a field is focused and perform some kind of action in reaction to that. So that pretty much does it for this video, guys. Thank you all so very much for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.